Hi, Cassie.
Hi, Jane.
So it's lovely to meet you. This is a long time coming. We have been trying to organize this conversation for quite a few months now. So you, Cassie, are Oraphim Shungite, and you have an amazing product to share with us. And we met a couple of years ago. You joined our directory. Steve and I had this directory, and you joined that. So that's how we connected, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's grown from strength to strength.
Yeah. So now we're in the food game, and we've added your products to our inventory, a very small selection of them. And you've also got a store which we send our customers to if they want things that we don't stock. So I was just wanting to use this opportunity for you to share with us the product that all of them obviously, but the main products that you sell, and tell us about it.
Yes,
I know.
well,
Sorry, just a wee bit about yourself as well and how you
yeah,
got into it.
yeah. So I've come to Shungite as an artist and researcher, and now more recently as an author. And you guys stock my book, Shungite Expect Miracles.
Yes.
And I was really inspired when I found Shungite because back then there was really not very much on the internet. And I was listening to Nancy Hopkins, who was the Wi-Fi weapons expert of the US military. I was really impressed by what she was doing with Shungite. So I ordered some of her products, found that they really worked. They took the lumps down in my lymphatic system from using the mobile phone. And I thought, wow, this is really good stuff. It came from America, so it had import taxes and it was more than I could afford really at the time. And I've always been aware with the invention of mobile phones that we do also need the remedy to stop them being so harmful to us. But in the past, I've never been able to afford it. When I found Shungite and found a way that I could work with it, it was like, we could bring this to people. And so it has been my mission to one, make it beautiful, two, make it a little bit more cost effective for people, and I seem to hit the market there. And now we have huge amounts of testimonials coming back. And we've grown our range to body care, the cloudbusters, and the fabrics. So yeah, huge range that we do.
It is
There's small.
a miracle product, isn't it?
Yes, and it is
And
to do with this molecule that's found in it. Yeah.
okay. And what is that?
So, fullerene molecule, and this was found in the stones. And this is the fastest spinning molecule that's been measured. And it has a vacuum inside it which collects the heavy metal particles, and then the free radicals are collected to the outside of it and just keep piling up, and they then get turned into either useful things for the body to use or they get removed. And that's a really rare thing for a detox protocol to be able to do, because the shungite disfluorine molecule, it's an electron sponge and donator, so it can donate its electrons to the free radicals, which then makes them useful for the body. So yeah, really a unique action for detoxing.
When you say
Um,
useful, do you mean just to help all the systems work in
yeah,
tandem with
so,
each other? And
yeah, so sometimes your free radicals are just missing or have got extra electrons, and that's what's making them toxic. And so because the C60 has 60 electrons, it can donate or it can scavenge them and take the extra ones away, which then makes those free radicals not free radicals and makes them useful for the body to use and not be just discarded. Yeah.
okay, so you've incorporated this product into end products. I don't know what you would call them. Yeah, I was wanting you to take us some of them.
Yeah. So one of the things that we found quite early on was people were using their EMF stickers. And I've got some here. So your EMF stickers. And they were putting them on the pipes and finding that this was changing the quality of the water. There wasn't any chlorine smell. Washing up suds were more soapy. Things were washing at lower temperatures with more suds in the washing machine. And from that, we were extrapolating, okay, so the shungite is purifying the water without it touching the water. And it's doing it instantly as the water is literally passing through the pipe. And it was those testimonials that led me on to developing the toggles. And so these can literally go on your taps, your garden hoses, and your water bottles, and it is purifying the water. So we clarified this scientifically by buying the water analysis equipment and testing. And so you can see on our leaflets and our literature that the chlorine and the fluoride were nullified instantly without the shungite needing to touch. But if you do the shungite to touch your water, you can put the stones in. I don't know if you can see them in here. I've got 3 layers.
I
They
keep
do
3
this.
stones in my water filter all the time.
Yeah.
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 Although you have to recharge them, don't you?
Not necessarily. No, then they're not. The thing about recharging is they're not a crystal, and I think this information gets really caught up in people learning about crystals and recharging crystals. Shungite's not a crystal; it's a mineraloid, and it's actually emitting the far infrared frequencies which are doing the work. Yeah, I think there's just a bit of a crossover of information there.
Okay. Because I have read that you can put them in the sunlight and the moonlight for a day or two, but that's not, you say that's not necessary.
Well, I don't think it is. No, I think there might be another reason you might want to do that because the sun is an information portal and there could be information codes coming through. But in charging, the energy is coming from the quantum realm and it's not going to run out. You can.
All right. Okay. And then, so that's, yeah, so you're basically, so the shungite that you keep in your, I keep in my water filter. So I drink it every time I take a glass of water. So what would that do when you drink? What would that do to your body?
So the thing about shungite is it's lowering the surface tension. And that means that the water molecules are actually able to be absorbed by your body's cells. Now, if you were just filtering your water and just taking out the impurities and not changing the surface tension, your cells are still struggling to absorb the water. Whereas when nullifying the chlorine, the toxins, the hormones, any other chemicals that are in there, it's restructuring the water, it's changing the way that the lime scales and the mineral deposits actually behave in the body. So they don't clump together. They don't decalcify the pineal gland. They don't cause the liver and kidney stones. In fact, it breaks them up because it's changing the way the electrons work in these minerals. It's energizing you and it's strengthening your whole system. And then you're getting the detox effect from the fullerenes going and supporting your liver and kidney function and also detoxing and doing the uptake.
Yeah. So it can help reduce inflammation then in your body. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes. I was just on a call on Wednesday. A lady's been using our products for a week. And she is just like the inflammation is going from where she had the inflammation in 1 week. And she was out riding her bike as she normally does. And she was absolutely bombing about up and down the hills in her Scottish lane. But yeah, she's amazed at how much energy she had in the first week of using the silver activated from.
So these are in this essentials shungite pack. You can buy the pack of stones is in there, which is this size.
That's correct, yeah. So you wouldn't need that full bag in your jug. You just need a minimum of 3. So you've got plenty of stones to share with friends or put in your and just to use it in other ways.
Yeah. I use them to put in my house plants. I put them in the plant pots because that's helpful for them, isn't it?
Yeah.
And also for flowers, and if you have keep flowers in a vase, cut flowers, it helps prolong their life, basically, doesn't it?
Yeah, I've even seen it where droopy flowers have then restood up.
So that's in the pack. You've got the toggle that you've explained. What else? And the stickers.
Yeah, and we also have the fruit magnet in the packs as well. Someone was recently telling me that they do, and we have also found with our raw milk that it makes the raw milk last a good few extra days. Things like your foods that go off very quickly, your spinach, hummus. When I was eating hummus, it was lasting a whole month. I will know when it's not right.
When you stick that on the outside of the fridge, do you?
It can go on the outside, or if you haven't got a magnetic door on the outside, it can go inside. It doesn't matter. And this is the difference with the silver activated powder is in the magnet. And that's the same that's in the toggles and in the stickers and in your easy earthers and also in the balm that's in that pack as well. And so the balm is a kind of your SOS everything balm, but it's really good on arthritis, skin conditions. People are even using it for gum disease, putting it on the outside, and it's taking the inflammation down. And yeah, if you've got an upset tooth, I had an upset tooth, so I was using it on the outside, and it was keeping the inflammation at bay until I could get to the dentist. And
For wounds as well, it helps heal them.
really rapid healing. Really rapid healing, and you can use it on a thrush, you can use it on athlete's foot. We have people who've used it on the animals and itchy conditions, even foot rot for farmers. I had a lady who's a farmer, she popped it in the sheep's hoof where it had the fungal foot rot, and she forgot that she'd done it because it worked the first time.
Wow. Gosh, it really is a miracle. So that's all part of the. Oh, the other thing is in your bath water, can't you? You can put the stones in a bath.
Yeah. And in your essentials kit, you do have a little blue bag to put your stones in. So you can just oink the bag with the stones in straight in and out of your bath. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really important to do these things because the chlorine in the water is absorbed by the skin the second it touches the skin. And so we know that the Shungite's working so powerfully for us because we had a gentleman who had underactive thyroid 30 years. And that apparently is incurable and will only ever get worse. Within 3 months of using the toggle on his water bottle, and he was wearing he had his routine check and they had to reduce his thyroxine by a third. That's because his underactive thyroid had suddenly started becoming active. And if you trace back what's affecting the thyroid, it's the chlorine in the water that affects the thyroid. And therefore, the chlorine had been nullified for for the activity of his thyroid to kick back in. And in our scientific experiment, the chlorine in the water was nullified for 5 days.
Gosh.
But the shungite isn't absorbing it, which is why you don't have to replace your shungite.
Right.
And what's happening is the molecule of the chlorine is the bonds are being broken by the fullerene energy spinning. Well, that breaks them like a bit like an explosion. And then 5 months later, they started coming back together because the water started yellowing to indicate that the chlorine was becoming active. 10 days later, it was as yellow as the tap water sample. And that was physically that we could see that happen, which is really exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Okay, so that's the starter pack. I've just got my little lineup of products here that I wanted to go through. The other thing is the Shungite powder, because we've got a lot of people who are really wanting to become a bit more self-sufficient and growing their own fruit, their vegetables, and just living a healthier life. So this Shungite powder is apparently, I don't know how to describe it. It's a one-stop shop for anything connected with, if you want abundant crops, it's a one-stop shop.
Yeah, so the studies done on the use of it in agriculture are really fascinating to read because it's quite a targeted abundance, and it's actually growing the parts of the plant that we want to be abundant in. It's not just growing big plants. And also happening that they tested was that the micronutrient levels in the plants were elevated. So it's a better quality vegetable or leaf that you're actually growing, not just the size of it. Which is really interesting. We've been working with a farmer here who has a farm nearby, and he was just so wowed. He said when he tested a little pinch of the powder on the sunflower leaves earlier in the summer, the way that they changed within 1 hour, he could see that it was nitrogen fixing and just so powerful. And it's a very small amount that you're needing to use by either putting the powder into your soil or using it in your water system. But yeah,
what quantities per? I don't know. Is it per square meter? How much do you suggest using?
well, it's a bit like small quantities. Now I have put the details on the listing, and we do send out a leaflet with them detailing that. But I think it was. I'm sorry, I'm going to do it from London.
It's for 10 grams or something per square meter. But I imagine it's a very small amount, and you just sprinkle it and just incorporate
just
it.
mix it in lightly with your new compost. And the reason why it's such a small amount is because the fullerene molecules are quantumly entangled with each other. And you to view each grain of the powder as a window to the quantum realm. As the energy comes through, they join forces on our side of the window. And this is where you get this really energetic field around your plants for them to grow so powerfully. And in the right way, with the micronutrients being enhanced.
And it absorbs during the day, it absorbs the heat of the sun, doesn't it? So it keeps the soil warm at night and prevents frost damage in the winter.
Yeah, there is that effect to it. And also the shungite is also emitting the far infrared frequencies as well. And that's one of the keys to the full state of water and how to make liquid crystal water is by infusing with the far infrared frequencies, which we do get from the sun. But if we don't have much sun, then we're getting it from the shungite powder.
Yeah. But yeah, it is. It's an all-round winner for that. And the other thing that's just sprung to mind, it's a herbicide, insecticide, and what's the other thing? Fungus.
It was antifungal, it is antibacterial, it is antiviral. It was one of the ancient uses, but the uses in the past was it was used as the hemp importers would use it to stop the infestations of insects and all sorts of bugs as they were shipping into England. Yes, it has been used that way before. Yeah.
Really, there's no need to use any of the, I don't know what I would describe them as. The products that for you to use.
Petrol derived lysis.
Yeah. And it's not harmful for the environment at all. So it's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And not only that, was animals that graze, that will be going into grass that they eat as well. So it will be good for the animals. So it is that cycle of doing that.
Yeah, and the studies that have been done with the herds is that the animals, when they have the shungite in their diet, there's longer egg production into the less light parts of the year, and also the young calves, but their muscle mass, so they build muscle mass a lot quicker. For use in bees, if you want to get a little lid and put the shungite powder on a lid and put it at the entrance of your beehives, the bees will walk through it, get it all on the little legs, and then they fly it everywhere. So you're using the bees to fly it into your environment. And when this has been done, the pollination is much, much more highly improved. So your crops are bigger the next year. There is no colony collapse. There is hardly any die-off. There's no mites in your hives. Excuse me. That was all researched by Derek Condit with his Shungite Bee project. And then you're getting the shungite into your honey as well, ready for the human digestion as well. Yeah. Wherever you want to start with it, whatever you do with it, you're going to be making a massive impact on your environment.
Can you imagine how beautiful the countryside would be and how amazing the food would be if all the farmers started using shungite for their crops?
Absolutely, yeah.
It'd be amazing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that's that. Now, this is a really interesting, it's a blue, isn't it? But this cloudbuster thing, which I bought because I do a bit of blue. You've got one there and I've got one here. I'm sure people are fascinated to understand what this is all about.
Yes, they are an interesting bit of technology that we can use, and developed from the principles of Wilhelm Reich, and the way to change the ions in the sky to make it rain or to move the clouds, that kind of thing. Kate Bush's song, if you want to know a little bit more about cloudbusting, her song "Cloudbusters" is the story of Wilhelm Reich told through the sun, her son, Wilhelm Reich's son. And we started making them. And the very, very first one we made was really big, 6 foot tall, 2 meter tall walls, massive base. And just really fascinating because that night when it was being made, I was actually clapped awake, massive clap, and I'm wide awake. and I was transported to it, but I wasn't physically transported to it. But I then found myself, and I realized I was in the earth underneath the cloudbuster. Wow. And then I was in this bubble. It could well have been a fullerene bubble, because what happened next was a ring of white light, like a ripple on a pond, appeared around me and then started moving. And I was taken with it, and I was flying across the fields on this ripple of white light, as if a ring, like in a pond, was spreading out. After some time, I was back in bed and going, "Whoa, so just happened." And just this morning, we've had someone just text me this morning to say their cloudbuster arrived, and as she opened the box, she felt this whoosh of energy come out, and it made her feel a little bit a whizzy, dizzy experience. And she was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, I keep mine in my bedroom. I keep mine in my bedroom because just to keep it calm, and it's just, it does have a calming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first one we've just installed at a new retreat centre near Arundel with Karen that runs the Freedom Network. We spent the afternoon there doing a little book launch, and she'd commissioned one of the very big ones. As we were putting the poles up, each of the big poles, I asked people to just have a calm moment. And we had all sorts of experiences where people could feel the energy really lifting up into these higher frequencies. And within an hour, from a slightly hazy sky with that grey film, it was completely bright blue.
So
Everyone was amazing.
it is actually a cloudbuster, is it?
So yeah, it does actually do it. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So we can all buy one and put them in our gardens, and these miraculously formed clouds will disappear. Will
Whenever I would ever look into the sky, we haven't got a big one here at the moment. We're in between making them. But where we were before, we always had one outside. And whenever I looked up, it was the brightest blue sky. And it's interesting because the gardener on the caravan park where we were, he said, the grass around your site is greener and grows faster than anyone else's. And also the tree in front of ours was really diseased. And the next year it put out its diseased leaves, and then it sprung out these really waxy, fresh, big, healthy leaves. And it was like, wow. And often people feel the energy from the cloudbusters. It roots them much, like energetically. They feel the energy go up their legs, and they feel this rooting to the earth that they hadn't felt before. I've had another lady, she had this energy go up her spine, and then her eyes cleared. That was a lady in Belgium. Yeah, we've been sending these all over the planet. There's quite a few in Australia that we've sent. There's quite a few in America. There's the lady, she bought 2 in Belgium, and we've been building the network in the UK. We don't have the big ones on the website. You can contact us to commission them, but we do have these amethyst topped ones here. Yes. And the quartz one. And if you would like a mixture of the amethyst and quartz, then just leave me a note and we can do that. Or if there's a specific crystal you'd like in the top, then we can try and source it for you. But yeah, or maybe
you could just leave it at your front door and you just walk into every environment. Yet is some wax or this rare.
And the thing about the calm environment is, the thing about Shungite is it is naturally cortisol lowering. It's lowering the heart rate variability, which is activated by all of our smart tech. And when we're in a calmer state, we're not triggered into reacting to things. So you're in the observer role. And I think people that are seeing things play out in a rather evil way, it's really important to not be triggered and to be in the observer role. Because when we're in the observer role, we are wishing and desiring the true nature of what we're here to do and here to experience. And in that moment, what you're doing is you're activating the fullerene, is the pentagon, the heart energy center, and the hexagon, which is also here on the fullerene, and you're grounding your heart's desire in a way that is judging what's being thrown at us, whether it's the poisons, the toxins, the overreach, the everything that's coming at us, and just going, no, no, I actually can envisage and imagine a world without that. And that's what we're then observing, is our imagination to ground it in a much more powerful way, because that's the thing about what they don't want us to realize is exactly how powerful each and every one of us are. And when we're working with the shungite, it's enhancing your electrical field. The frequencies coming through your field get transformed by the shungite that's working with you, but it's you that's doing it.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to externalize everything. You're the one here with your beating heart creating the energy.
Yeah.
Shungite's just meant to make you even more powerful and to connect us all together.
Yeah.
And that's what it's doing. It's the largest molecule that does quantum entanglement. So we are all quantumly entangled and connected. Quite like quite a force these days together.
Yeah.
The shungite, when wearing our beautiful pieces, people get drawn to it. And they're like, oh, I love that. And what they're actually loving is the frequencies that we are putting into the environment, as well as it being a lovely EMF busting piece that's handmade.
And
with the
they're
silver.
available on your website, aren't they?
We've got a huge range of silver activated shungite. And I was led to that by working through Nancy Hopkins' podcast. And now we've sort of teamed up with Nancy, and it's just been brilliant. It's come under her wing this year, and she's loving the shungite socks that we're doing, because you're getting those frequencies again up through your meridian system in your feet, and we're also doing the insoles.
Yes, I was going to ask you about those because I wasn't aware of those until we just met just before this meeting. So tell everyone about the insoles.
So, grounding and earthing is a really important part of our lives. And the possibility of people getting earthing shoes or wearing leather-soled cowboy boots isn't always an option for everybody. And so what we're doing is we're heat pressing the shungite into the base of the insoles. It's heat pressed in, it's not going to come out. And then you've got the soft side to put your feet on. It comes with a match, so these are cut, you cut them to the size that you want them. And the feedback that we're getting is things like plantar fasciitis, that pain goes away. Hip ache, inflammation, they all go away. Because you're actually grounding to the earth in a quantum way. Often thinking about things in such physical, like we have to touch the earth and everything's so 3D in a way. But this is where shungite just works in this quantum way to be able to connect us to the earth frequencies without physically having to be conductively connected. This is where it's a very different experience. I said the lady earlier this week was out of her bike, and the inflammation is going away from her body very rapidly.
Yeah. And she cycled further than she's ever cycled before, didn't she? With brain oxygen.
So doesn't have the energy to do it, because she could not believe how she was really motoring along and going further and also she's that kind of feedback that is it's the testimonial. You will see it in your own lives and how it changes you.
It's rewarding to see all the work that you do, and people are seeing those immediate results. So it's great to see. So those insoles, they're made of felt, wool felt is are they made? They're made from felt.
These are made from felt.
Yeah.
The first ones we made were definitely wool felt. I'm going to double check which felt these are. I know you guys have requested some wool felt. It may be that the wool felt ones come back online, or we can get them. So we're also working with some other fabrics, and we're actually working to develop a shungite ink to develop many more fabric, clothing products. So that what's happening is we bought the Rife machine, which measures frequencies. It's called the Life Force. And what we're measuring is the life force of the fabrics is an extra 10-20% when the shungite has been added to the product. And so when you're wearing your clothing, it's actually giving you those frequencies that you would want instead of depleting your energy field as thin bricks do.
And you're
Um,
holding your scarf there because that's another Shungite product, isn't it?
It is. It's one of my Shungite fabric scarves. We've got some on our website. It's limited edition, as I've
Oh,
been
wow.
trying different designs.
And what's that
Absolutely.
made of?
So these ones are 100% silk. Yeah,
Love.
yeah, 100% silk. Yeah, and yeah, we're looking at expanding that into some linens, cottons, and just really loving. My background is as an artist, product designer, maker. I used to work with academics at Sheffield University, and I left that work because I was really shocked that they weren't interested in curing people. It was about they kept funding, and if you have a cure, you're not going to get funding research money anymore. And that really changed my life. And I prayed and I said, God, please put my creativity to actually help people. And I closed down my studio. I didn't know what I was going to do, where I was going to go. And I lived off grid at the time. And so I was able to just drive away. And that's what I did. And that's when I found Nancy Hopkins. And that's when I started going, oh, okay, this is something that we can develop into so many things to help people. And so that was
To
my
be
wish.
working, yeah, to be working with Nancy Hopkins she's the oracle of Shungite, really, isn't she? So to be working with her is quite something.
Absolutely. We sent her parcel with the pyramids and the socks, and she's just absolutely loving it. Yeah. But the quote that she's quoted as saying she didn't think there'd be more that anyone else is obsessed about Shungite. Then she went, "Be but one of the things that's been fascinating to learn about the Fullerene molecule is it's named after Buckminster Fuller. And I've been working with his geometry for nearly 25 years, much longer than I've known, because I was making marquees based on his principle of the Fullerene molecule. And I just looked up his birthday as I was finishing my book, and it's the 12th of July, which interestingly is the same as mine.
Wow.
All these,
what are they called? They're not coincidences, are they? It's the divine connection.
One of the things I loved it. I've always loved his quotes, and one of the things about his quotes is when he's working on a problem, if the solution isn't beautiful, he knows it's not right. And that's when I came to Shungite. It all looked like it was plain, boring, functional, black, and it was like, I want people to love this in a way that they would want to wear it, want to gift it, and want to really enjoy it in an aesthetically pleasing way, not its black goth kind of way. Or some of these other EMF solutions are really quite functional and just not beautiful. And so that's where I've come at it with my artistic skill. Although I'd never made jewelry before, so this was a really, and we'd never done the resin casting before, so we really learned from scratch over the last nearly 9 years. Yeah,
and you've got pendants and earrings and rings and just the range.
Full range. Yeah, there's some new man's bracelets on this week as well.
But this is the little you sent me as well. I keep this in front of my laptop. I just can have it there to interact with the EMFs.
And if you were to run your hand, I don't know, if your hand was far away, rest it there for a moment and take your hand across. Do you feel there's a little wind coming out of the top or a buzz?
Oh, I do actually.
There's something like strange.
My hand's going all timbry.
Yes. So that's the thing coming out and interacting with you. And so things like you can use that. If you've got aches and pains, you can point that. Point is the whole point of the pyramid. You can point it, aches, your pains, if you've got the inflammation or anything like that. You can use it on your third eye to do the decalcification. That's a really powerful energy boost as well. If you're not sure how you want to work with it, just point it at your core and just circle it. That will give you an instant energy boost. So they're really practical.
I hadn't realised that was a use for them as well. I just use them always in front of my laptop. So that's an interesting.
Really great little tools. And if you have a play around with it, if there's a pair of you, you can do it to someone's back. And obviously, they're not going to nag you or move you or tear a mood, but just ask them where they feel the energy. And then, if that's the person, just pull it back a little bit and it will pull them over. Because, and what's happening is it's attaching and it's pulling off all the excess energy because the majority of us are wearing rubber soled shoes and we're not grounded. And so, what's happening is it's all building up and then causing these issues and inflammation because the energy hasn't got anywhere to go. But this is where you're then taking off that extra energy. But often the person holding the pyramid, their hand will be buzzing and all sorts of sensation.
But it's completely gone. So she told me to do that. It's weird.
Yeah. And some people in like an electric shock, they go,
Yeah. But
sure, you know what to do with it now. And I just watched my niece a couple of years ago, watch the children, see what they do. So she walked around on her forehead and she swapped between her belly button and her forehead. And obviously that's where all our nutrients went in through the belly button when we were being grown. As limiting, a portal for all our energy. And also your vagus nerve runs through your belly button still. And this is where some of those nerves can dry up, those nerve pathways. And so this is where the Shungite energy can re-energize them. But, excuse me, so people that have ME, MS, fibromyalgia, these sorts of energetic conditions, they need an antihistamine to repair the myelin sheath on the nervous system. And Shungite is an antihistamine. And this is where they're getting such rapid results and getting back on, being able to walk miles with the first day of putting their pendants on, or they're having their pyramids around, getting back into gardening and shopping, and basically getting their lives back, which is, again, another miracle.
And you just then get used to which you wrote, that details a lot of those kind of healing stories. It's phenomenal, some of the stories in there. People with tumors, and lots of kind of people with chronic disease, it seems to eradicate it.
Yeah. She calls it the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail. Fountain. The really rare items for us to get is other cups. We have some in stock, but they're very rare. And things like one of the most remarkable stories we heard early in the early days of Shungite, and this is a lady who had a parachuting accident. Jane Osborne, if you have corrupt, and her parachute basically didn't open. And when she landed, it broke the majority of her bones, and she was left paralyzed from the neck down. There wasn't anything else the hospital could do for her. She'd heard about Shungite. She got someone to put the Shungite at her feet. She now walks around unaided. She doesn't need any walking aids. Yes, she's had lots of operations to mend the tendons and just alter things. But ultimately, what the Shungite is doing is it's remapping and unblocking energy pathways, setting them back in the correct blueprint to humanity. Yeah.
No, that's amazing. Yeah, and for the quick, if anyone wants to read any of those stories, expect miracles. It's full of, and it's also, you tell us what's in this book, because I listening to read.
There's quite a lot of, not misinformation, but just where people are confusing Shungite and how it works with crystals. And so I go into just explaining the difference and why Shungite is so different. I go into a lot of the kind of the origin story and where people why they think certain things, and I just just break it down for people. Shungite, there's still some mystery about how it got to Earth and where it came from. And I just like that actually it's more important to me to give you the kind of layout of why someone would say something as opposed to giving you my opinion. And I go into the scientific testing that we've done and how we designed our experiments so that we could really see the fuller picture as to what Shungite's doing. Because a lot of people jump into conclusions by not devising their experiments to be able to capture fully what Shungite's doing. There's a lot of testimonials in there. There's the difference between plain shungite, elite shungite, silver activated shungite, and then there's sections on the cloudbusters, the pyramids, the balms, the body care. So people can just hone in and go, okay, but why would I want to use that? And what will it do for me?
And it's very
Oh,
easy to read as well. It's well put together. Anyone wanting to know, just understand what it's all about. This is a good tip.
And there's a whole big section on water, because if we're going to talk about purifying water, we have to look at the mystery of what water is. And then there's a section on the tyranny of the times that we're in and why shungite has really come to the forefront now. What happened 10 days before the first lockdown in that the frequency of the shungite transformed and has been raising in frequency ever since. And how I pair that to ancient Hopi prophecy and also the potential of what we could experience and how special we are and why shungite works with us so powerfully. So yes, it is been quite a kind of romp through so many different topics. And just to add to that, I failed English GCSE. I am dyslexic. I
Wow.
love writing. I love writing and I love bringing these stories to people. Yeah, it's been quite a challenge to bring that book together, but thank you so much for your comments.
Yeah, you've done a really good job of it. It's easy to read and it's just put together in really well. So it's helpful.
Yeah, thank you to my editor Susie for helping me with that too. It's been a really great chat. I think we've talked about so many of the issues with shungite and gone through so many things. Thanks so much for having today.
Thank you for joining. Thank you for finally we managed to get together. As I said at the beginning, it's been in the pipeline for quite a few months. So yeah, we finally managed to get this. So I will share this to all our customers and followers and direct them to your website. And we also stock your products, but you've got way more than what we have. So we've just got the essentials, the bare essentials, and then you can go to use everything else.
We're talking about coming up to Scotland and pairing up with you guys and the boat festival next year at Port Soy. And because Shungite's very interactive, there's so many things I can show you, like we just did with that pyramid.
Yeah.
It's just a bit of a show of stone. It really wants to interact with us. And does that very funny personality. So do talk to your Shungite and see what it can do.
All right, Cassie, lovely chatting with you, and we will catch up again soon. Hopefully.
All the best, everybody.